It's the Flow Friday Night Sports Show, and let's have a look at great Flinders football in the week that was. 3 big matches and an almighty upset to talk about tonight with Chris Prime, who joins me on the line. Primey, how are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, Rex.
Excellent. Why don't we start with that big upset? Lock, they got over the top of the almighty United Yeelanna Eagles, who went down in the end 19-10, 124, 12-5, 77. Big game of football, this one at Lock. The home side would have been absolutely ecstatic, I'd imagine.
I would think so. Look, Lock's been pretty, when you talk to the Lock boys, they've been pretty quietly confident on how they're travelling. They've had a couple of close losses, and, you know, I know the week they beat Tumby, like, they were pretty well, you know, we're around the mark, I was saying. So, look, I think it's just, they were pretty happy to fly on the radar as long as they have, and I think there'll be sides looking at them a bit differently from here on in.
Oh, absolutely. They're certainly under the radar no longer. We've talked a lot this year about the forward line of Cummins, Kapinnie being anchored by Yoey Wagner, and we'll get to him in a moment. But Lock kicking 19-10 and anchored by Travie Beard, who booted another 9. He's been in as good a nick probably as Yoey, if not even better. But he's got guys around him giving him support as well, mate.
Oh, it is, and once again, you've got to keep forward, so it gives you a real target. And like just with the midfield and the forward, good midfield and a good forward line, like you're part way there, you just need the back line, you should be right. And obviously, Lock as they're getting players back, they're just getting stronger and stronger.
Yeah, there's some very, very good players in that lineup named in their best. Heath Kay, Blaze Kay going beautifully, Glover. Obviously Beardy as well, and Corey Beard. But what about for the Eagles? Similar names as always. Cretton booting 4. He was good to see him back. That's Stevie. Luke Howie kicked a couple as well. Cretton, Watson, Glover, and I think that's Mickey Cretton in there, named in their best as well, along with Carr. So similar names. Obviously, it was one quarter which really broke this apart, and that was the second quarter where Lock booted 8 goals to 3 and held that advantage in the second half. So well done, Roos. That's a fantastic result for their footy club.
It is. It's good for the comp. Like, just puts a bit of an extra bounce in everyone's step. And they're thinking, oh, actually, if we were on today, like, we can beat anyone. And, it just shows if you're not at a game 100%, like, you know, you only have to drop one quarter or half a quarter, and the sides can get hold of you. So, well done, Lock, and as I said, they will be looking at them just that a little bit differently, I think, when they go to their predictions from here on in.
Tell you what, we'll move to your boys next. Tumby Bay took on Cummins Kapinnie. We know Cougars have been flying, but your Tumby Bay crew were not disgraced in this game by any stretch. In fact, you went to half-time right in the game, just 2 points in it. It was Cougars in the end, 15-12, 102, and a big second half for them over Tumby Bay, 8-5, 53. Some green shoots for Tumby, but another solid performance from Cougars with Wagner booting 9 of those 15.
Yeah, look, it was a good game. Like, Tumby went in with a reasonable game plan, and that held up to half-time. Probably the third quarter, Cougars got hold of Tumby a little bit with, I know, Tumby either just dropped off that 5% probably, and I mean, and against a good side, that's all it takes. And there was issues both sides, like Dylan Mondra. I'm not sure if I just started refreshed, rehydrating after B grade before he came off for the hamstring. I'm not sure if it was the warm up or as the umpire threw the ball up, he did that. So it was very early. Tom McDonald also went down with an ankle for Tumby. I'm just trying to think that might have been this early in the third quarter, which threw a bit of a spanner in Tumby's game plan. But I think Tumby battled it out. Cougars kicked 2 or 3 quite late ones just to open the gap up a little bit more. But they're a class side. Their midfield ran all day, and Tumby stayed with them as long as they could. And look, it's just hard to stop. And on Yo, he kicked 9. Good to see him actually play rather than just reports. And Ellie works hard. He's got a good midfield, but he's doing 2 leads. He actually beats his backman not by body or just good work up the field. He just keeps working harder, and guys just can't keep up with him.
Exactly right. I mean, he's as fit as the day is long. He doesn't just get cheap ones. He works hard for his goals. So He's a class act. There's no question about that. And look, like we said last week, I understand the concern when a player is kicking probably, more than 50% of your club's goals week in, week out. In some instances, way more than that. There's some obviously concern around where else do your goals come from if he goes down. But hey, if he's fit and firing and up and going, why wouldn't you give him the footy, right?
Oh, look, it's just any key forward, you got a bloke there and he's a target. Well, let's go to him. He's getting it enough of it. Like, I mean, if they go in there, I looked at that forward 50s in against Tumby, and Tumby will get the ball into the forward line probably more than Cougars early on, and just couldn't quite finish it off. And like they'd go in and they've got a target, so they know the ball's going there. We know the ball's going there. But yeah, like if he doesn't mark it, there's someone else there to from it.
And make no mistake, Cougars are a lot more than just Yowie Wagner. I mean, Fauciani's a little star. Pake, Gunn, he was named in the best as well. Hazel, well, we know his quality. Hazel Grove, he's an absolute champion. And I don't throw that word around lightly. So there's a heck of a lot more in Cougars jumpers than just Johan Wagner.
Oh, no, but I think they'd like us just to concentrate on him. If we just talk about him, the others slip under the radar.
Exactly right, yeah.
but once again, they're classy midfield. And in the end, their run and just their numbers that kept pushing forward when they had the ball, probably that sheer weight of numbers just overcome Tumby. So, well done, Cougars.
Good game of footy. And I'll tell you what, the weight for age stakes, as we were talking about last week, Eyre United and Ramblers, both young footy sides. Ramblers obviously a little bit more experiences around the periphery, and well, they were probably always going to get the job done here, but Eyre United not disgraced. Good game of footy. 9-14-68, the Saints. 3-6-24. Talk about green shoots, maybe a couple of those for the Saints. They just can't score at the moment, Primey.
Well, I think that's a bit of a dilemma, just that weight, the age, and like just having that clean delivery into the forward lines. I think it was a pretty tight tussle. Like it was pretty close to quarter time, and I think the second and third quarter, I don't think there was a lot of goals scored. So I mean, it just meant both back lines were probably on top, and ball going back and forth. But Eyre they kept battling along, and then last week and this week will be a couple of real tests for them. Like against Ramblers, the young playing generally a younger side, so that was a good matchup. And this week's game will be another big test for them when they come up against Tumby. But there's positive signs there. Ramblers, look, they won one they should have won. Probably not as comfortably as they might have penciled in earlier in the week, but I'll be happy to walk away with the win.
Quick check of the ladder as we head into round 8. Cougars on top at the moment, undefeated. Of course, the Eagles, their first loss, takes them down. They're still on 10 points, but they've played one more game. Lock shoot up to third, 3 wins and 2 losses now, and a pretty solid percentage. Elliston Districts in 4th spot on the ladder. Ramblers 2 and 3, just one game out, knocking on the door. Tumby Bay back to 1 and 5 still, having played 6, and the Saints 6 games, no wins as yet. I reckon this is a pretty important round with some of the key matchups that we're about to talk about in a moment. First of all, we'll start off by saying the Eagles have the bye just to give them another week to lament their loss. So I'm not sure who's got them the week after, but there's never a good time to get the Eagles off a loss, but off a loss when they've had 2 weeks to think about it. Good luck, whoever's playing them in a couple of weeks' time, Primey.
I haven't looked that far forward. I'm pretty sure it's not us, so I'm not too disappointed. So.
No, I'll just give you the idea as to who it is, actually. I've skipped forward a week and tell you what, you know who it is. It's Cummins Kapinnie Cougars, so that should be a beauty.
And we'll pencil that one in to see what happens. But we've got to get through this week first.
Exactly, and speaking of Cougars, they'll have a test at Cummins. Elliston Districts come to town. They're rested after a week off. They had the bye last week, but Cougars, we talked about them with their gun forward and Yowie Wagner and their quality around that, but Elliston Districts have got their own stars, so they certainly won't be disgraced in this game, but you'd think Cougars would start favourites.
I do think Cougars will be favourites, but it'll be interesting because both sides are pretty good running sides. Elliston Districts spread really well. They get the ball and get wide pretty quickly, and so that will be a test for the Cougars. One thing that might worry Elliston is just their lack of height. They haven't got the big heavy forwards, so Yeah, look, I think Cougars will get the chocolates, but I think Elliston Districts will push them. It'll be one of those tough scrambling games, I reckon.
I think a few of their boys, Elliston Districts, might have gone down to Lincoln and had a game on the weekend as well. I reckon Cody Rosalia ran around and kicked a couple of goals down there for Tasman, so they won't be completely rested. A few of the older boys might have been able to rest their weary bones for a week, which probably good for them. As far as Cougars go, though, really all they need to do is keep on keeping on. They're going beautifully at the moment, so I would be tipping Cougars in this one by probably 4 or 5 goals.
Well, I'll add a bit extra to the Cougars run this week. Obviously, Dylan Wanderer will be out, I would think, with a hamstring. There's a bloke out there that's going to play his 200th game for Cougars this week. But I think we mentioned him most weeks. He's a pretty handy footballer. Made his debut in 2003. Got 7 best and fairest, 13 Mortlock Shields, 2 as captain, 7 AP rents, 2 as captain, 2012 male medal, 3 times runner-up, 3 Anzac Day medals. Have you had a guess who it is yet, Breach?
I already knew, but when you read out the resume like that, boy, goodness me, it just hits home just how good this guy actually is. And that's just his footy resume. We could read out his cricket resume to go alongside it.
Yeah, look, outstanding footballer and just his overall, his temperament and what he gives back, not just
outstanding human, Primey. Just an outstanding guy.
Yeah, what he gives back to footy, like he coaches the juniors, and I mean, if you can get a couple of words out of him, he's pretty wise about the game too. So Hazel, good luck on your 200 this week. As I said, outstanding bloke. He's been a pleasure to watch, even on the opposition. So you get enjoyment watching him, even when he's tearing you to shreds. So
yeah,
I wish him the best this week for his 200.
All right, well done, Hazel, and we'll move on to Lock, the all-conquering Lock side at the moment at home to Ramblers. It'll be a long time since they will have played Lock, probably since the year they made the grand final and start favourites, that is. So at home, the big oval there, Ramblers come to town. I think Lock start favourite and probably win.
I think you're right. The Locks, as you said, you might have tipped it differently a couple of weeks ago, but yeah, look, Lock's got a pretty handy side, and it's just, with a couple of key forwards, they keep moving the ball in, and they're starting to gel. I've got a few blokes back and gelling, and yeah, I think they'll get over the line with 5 or 6 goals probably in the end.
And the last match of the round, let's have a look at it. The Saints, Eyre United, Tumby Bay, the local derby. Here it is at Tumby. I guess the Blues, this is just simply must-win material. And for the Saints, after last week's performance, would they give themselves a bit of a sniff in this one, mate?
Oh, look, I think they should. I think you go into most games with that attitude, realistically, that's where they sit. They go, well, okay, Tumby hadn't been in the finest of forms over the past month. But in all honesty, if they played like they did Saturday and probably 3 or 4 of the games before, they would have come out with wins. But Eyre United always throw an extra leg when they play Tumby, and I don't think this week will be any different. They'll be up and about, and they'll be pushing Tumby right to breaking point, I would think. I think hopefully Tumby have got enough good players that they can get over the line this week.
Well, that's the key in terms of getting guys back on the park. How close are you closer to doing that? Have you got some guys? You got the cavalry coming back now, or are you still a couple of weeks off?
All we can see at the moment is Indians. We just seem to be even getting injuries. Tom McConnell went down with an ankle. Sorry, and I think this week is probably one of those weeks where if the guys don't play this week, they get Mortlock, plus we have the bye after Mortlock, so it's basically another 3 weeks off. So there's a few hamstrings and things like that I think we'll be looking after our bye. It probably makes it a bit tough on not just our A-grade coaching staff, but our B-grade coaching staff. You take 4 or 5 guys out of the A-grade, they don't find their own players, they just come and take them from the B-grade, which happens in every club, which leaves all your grades short as you go down. So,
yeah.
Look, I think Tumby will start getting players back close to the bye, like 2 or 3 weeks' time, but they'll have 20 out there. Eyre United will have 20 out there, and it'll be a battle, and see who comes over the chocolate.
Someone will have a win. All right, mate, we will leave it there. Next week, I can't wait to do this. We're going to get to talk a little bit of Mortlock Shield. It'll be just on our doorstep this time next week, so those damn Maroons will be getting ready to have another assault on the title, which I think you guys won back in 2019, did you not?
Look, I can't remember that.
I can't remember back that far myself. I'll do some investigative reporting in between now and then and find out who is actually the Mortlock champions in waiting, but I'm pretty sure it's Great Flinders. If it's not, then I've upset someone. We'll leave it there for this week, Primey, though. All the best with the remainder of seeding, mate. Get that crop in, and we'll catch you next week.
All right, thanks, Reeves. Everyone enjoy that footy and enjoy a cold one at the end of the day.